Hello, I'm David Harper with the BBC News. President Volodymyr Zelensky has accused Russia of causing extensive blackouts in eastern Ukraine, with total outages in Kharkiv and Donetsk regions and partial ones elsewhere. He said Moscow had attacked critical civilian infrastructure to try to deprive people of heat and light. Ukraine has made sweeping territorial advances in recent days. In his nightly address, Mr. Zelensky praised his soldiers.
Today,
everyone sees and notes your actions in the north, south and east of Ukraine. The world is impressed. The enemy is panicking. Ukraine is proud of you, believes in you, prays for you and is waiting for you. The path to victory is a difficult one, but we are sure you are capable of it.
The mayor of Izium, a strategic East Ukrainian city held by Russia since March, says all its residents should be able to return in about 10 days' time, now that Ukrainian forces have recaptured it. Valery Marchenko told the BBC that troops were currently searching for hiding Russian soldiers. He said 2/3 of Izium's population had fled, but most wanted to go back despite extensive destruction. The mayor said the Russians had used Izium to try to advance to Slovyansk and Kramatorsk further south, but had been blocked. Sweden's main centre-right politician Ulf Kristersson has said he's ready to build a new government after Sunday's general election results showed his coalition inching towards victory. With tallies in from 93% of electoral districts, they have a wafer-thin lead over the centre-left coalition of Prime Minister Magdalena Andersson. But he says the count is too close to call. Speaking to party members, Ms Andersson said her Social Democrats had done well.
Now Swedish democracy must take its course. All votes must be counted, and we will wait for a result. In the meantime, let's think. We had a good election, we received a good result, and we had a fantastic campaign. Thank you.
A far-right party now allied with the right-wing group, the Sweden Democrats, has made big gains, and its leaders say they now want to sit on parliamentary committees. The African Union has welcomed an announcement by Tigrayan rebels in northern Ethiopia that they're willing to take part in peace negotiations. The Secretary-General of the AU Commission, Moussa Faki Mahamat, said it was a unique opportunity to end the conflict and urged the rebels and the government in Addis Ababa to implement an immediate ceasefire. Fighting resumed in August after several months of calm. 2 Native American communities have jointly bought 16 hectares of land around the Wounded Knee National Historic Landmark, the site in South Dakota of one of the deadliest massacres in U.S. history. More than 250 people were killed by the U.S. Army as they sought to disarm the Lakota people. The land will now be preserved as a sacred site. You're listening to the latest world news from the BBC. The coffin of Queen Elizabeth has arrived in the Scottish capital Edinburgh, where thousands of mourners filled the streets. It had set off 6 hours earlier from the late monarch's home at Balmoral Castle in the Scottish Highlands, where she died on Thursday. The coffin will remain in Edinburgh until Tuesday, before being flown to London for the state funeral on the 19th of September. John Swinney is Scotland's Deputy First Minister.
There's been a huge amount of work done around the country to make sure that all of the planning's in place at Balmoral, in Ballater, in Aberdeen, Dundee and here in the city of Edinburgh to make sure that as many people as possible can be involved in paying their respects. But then specifically in Edinburgh on Monday and Tuesday, when Edinburgh will be very much the centre of the tributes.
Campaigners in Jamaica say they are increasingly confident that the death of Queen Elizabeth marks the end of an era and the island will soon become a republic. Will Grant reports.
Later this week, a condolence book for Queen Elizabeth will be opened to the public in Kingston, and many of those who met her on one of her several visits to the island are expected to sign. However, a growing number of Jamaicans see her death as marking the end of an era for the island too. Recent polls suggest more than half of the population supports becoming a republic. Earlier this year, Prince William visited the island for the Queen's Platinum Jubilee and was told by the country's Prime Minister, Andrew Holness, that Jamaica was moving on as a country.
The Spanish teenage tennis star Carlos Alcaraz has won his first Grand Slam title, beating Norway's Casper Ruud to win the US Open at Flushing Meadows. The 19-year-old won in 4 sets. He's the youngest Grand Slam winner since 2005. On Monday, he'll become the new world number 1 in the men's game, the youngest player ever to top the global rankings. Live from London, I'm David Harper, and that's the latest BBC News.